Hey everyone, and welcome. So today, we're going to tackle a piece of English grammar that, well, let's just say it can get people really fired up. I actually found this out the hard way, so let's just jump right in.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, and it seems like a really simple one, right? If you've ever studied English, you probably have an answer locked and loaded. For most of us, it's just automatic.
And, they wouldn't be wrong. Gone is totally the standard answer. It's what we all learn in school, it's what you'll find in pretty much every single textbook. But, and this is the big question, is it the only one?
So here's what happened. A little while back, I posted this very idea on social media, that been is also a past participle of go. I thought, it was just a cool, kind of nerdy grammar fact. Wow, was I wrong? I had no idea what I was getting into. The reaction, it was immediate, and let's just say very passionate.
Yeah, that whole experience made me realize that what I thought was just a simple little clarification is, well, it's actually a pretty controversial grammar rule for a lot of people. And you know what? That makes it the perfect thing for us to break down today.
I am not kidding. This was a real comment I got. All caps, exclamation point, the whole shebang. And you know what? I totally get it. Based on what we're all taught in school, that reaction makes complete sense. It feels like someone is challenging a fundamental rule you thought you knew backwards and forwards.
And this really gets to the heart of it, right? Is that rule we all memorize the whole story? Or is there maybe a little more to it? A nuance, another layer that just gets missed in our textbooks? Let's find out.
Okay, so to settle a debate like this, we can't just rely on angry social media comments, or honestly, even just what I say. We have to go to the authorities. The people who literally write the books on this stuff.
And our first piece of evidence? It comes from one of the most respected names in the entire world of English language teaching. Let me introduce you to Michael Swan. Now, this isn't just some random guy with an opinion. We're talking about an Oxford University graduate, the author of the book, Practical English Usage. This is basically the Bible for English teachers and serious learners all over the world. When Michael Swan says something about grammar, you listen.
And right there in his definitive book, Swan lays it out plain and simple. It's not about gone being right and been being wrong. Nope. He says they are both correct past participles of go. The real secret, the key, is that they just mean different things.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, fine, that's one expert. Fair enough. But this isn't some obscure one-off opinion. And to prove it, let's bring in another expert. This is Emma. She's a fantastic English teacher from Australia. And guess what? In her own teaching videos, she explains the exact same concept, that go has two past participle forms. She even points out that it's a super common point of confusion for students, which, honestly, just proves this whole debate is a real thing. Okay, so the verdict is in. The experts agree both words are correct. Now for the million-dollar question. What is the difference? Well, it all boils down to the type of journey we're talking about. Let's look at these two sentences, because they make it super clear. If you say, he has gone to Paris, what does that mean? It means he's there now, or maybe he's on his way. The point is, he hasn't come back. The trip is still happening. But if you say, he has been to Paris, that's a whole different story. That means he went there, maybe he saw the Eiffel Tower, ate a croissant, and, crucially, he's back now. The trip is over. See the difference? So here's the easiest way to remember it. Gone is for an uncompleted journey. Think of it as a one-way ticket. Been is for a completed journey, a round trip. Gone implies absence, they're not here. Been implies experience, they have the memory. Okay, now to help this whole idea click, I want to show you something really cool. It's a parallel from a completely different language that actually does something very similar. It's pretty fascinating. Get this. In Portuguese, the verbs for to be and to go are exactly the same in the simple past tense. It's a perfect example of how a language can give one single word two totally different jobs. Just take a look at this. The Portuguese word fui can mean I was, as in I was a student, or it can mean I went, as in I went to the store. So how do they know which one it is? Simple, context. For a native speaker, there's no confusion at all. It's completely natural. And that's really the big takeaway here. This kind of thing is just built into how languages work. That subtle difference between gone for an unfinished trip and been for a finished one, it's exactly the same idea as knowing whether fui means was or went. It all comes down to context, and the more you hear it, the more it just becomes second nature. So there you have it. Turns out the verb go has a much more interesting, more complex story than what most of us learn in school. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
What other rules of language that we think are set in stone are actually way more flexible, way more interesting than we give them credit for? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.